Okay, so let me go back. As a matter of fact, I'm going to erase this real quick. I'm going to undo, because y'all didn't hear a word I said. I was talking to myself. All right. So whenever you see that there are an X and a Y, there we go. Okay, so whenever you see that there are an X and a Y, oh, there we go. Then we're always going to get rid of the X first, okay? And so you'll do the same thing every single time. So anytime you see that there's an X and a Y, you will always get rid of the X first. So if this is a positive 5X, we're going to subtract 5X, and we're going to do it to both sides. All right, so these will cancel out, and I'm left with 3Y. Now, you will never, ever, ever be able to combine these right here because this has an X and this one doesn't. And so because of the fact that this has an X and we're dealing with numbers, we always write the X first. And then the 21 second, or whatever the number is second, so that's a positive 21. Now I know right now you're looking at this going, oh gosh, you know, this looks confusing. I promise you guys, we are going to do so many of these this year that you're going to get good at these. I promise. Okay, so for right now, just stick with me. Okay, so the first thing we're always going to do when there's an X and a Y is get rid of the X first. The second thing we're always going to do is divide by whatever's in front of the Y. So 3 is in front of the Y. We're going to divide everything by 3. Okay, so that cancels out these 3's. Now, hopefully, I need to find out when they're going to put the calculator. When I say the calculator, we have the Inspire calculator. I don't know when they're going to put it on y'all's computers, but I will check on that. Once you get that Inspire calculator, you can put fractions in the Inspire calculator, and it will tell you if it reduces. So this right here, if we put this in the calculator, does not reduce. So it's just 5/3. I am terrible with fractions. And so if you're terrible with fractions, the big thing is just to understand that we'll have a calculator eventually to help us. And I will check to see when that's going to come. All right. And then let's see, they're just going to put it on the school laptop. Yes, somehow they're going to put it on the school laptops. I don't know how, but somehow it's just supposed to show up on your laptops, I think. And once I find out instructions, if there is something you got to do, I will let you know. Oh, you don't use a school laptop. That might be a problem. I don't know. I'll have to think about that because they're supposed to push it to the school laptop. So, and we're going to use that calculator all year long. So we'll figure something out. All right. So we have an X there, and then 21/3. If we put that in the calculator, it will tell us that it reduces to a +7. So that's our work right there. So this right here, turns out that this is, this number 2 right here is going to be one of the most important things we do all year. So we're going to practice it all year. I'm not a teacher that will introduce this to you like once or twice and then just expect you to know it. We're going to practice this all year long. Okay. This next part might be kind of weird, but I need y'all to minimize this screen right here. So this screen right here, I need you to minimize it. And we need to go into, and actually I'll tell you what, you might watch this for a second. So you might, to minimize this and then to bring it back up, you would just click on this blue, can you even see that? You can't really see that. At the bottom of your laptop, there's a blue icon that has like a movie thing. So if you click on that, it'll make it go up and down. So I'm going to click on, if y'all haven't gone to, and you don't have to do this right now, I guess you can watch this and then go back and do it. But if you can minimize it and do it, if you can go back into Canvas and click on the assignment, I want to show y'all something today. Okay, so first off, you're going to put your name on this. So student sample. So whatever your name is, I'm just putting sample student. And then put the period you're in. So I'm just going to put fourth, even though none of y'all have fourth period. Now, normally, I hope you're trying to watch these videos. But right now, since you're with me, you don't need to watch the video, so just hit next. Once again, as long as you're with me, if you're showing up to this every day, you don't need to watch the video. But it says click the link to do the Desmos activity. Now, at some point today, if you're not going to do it right now, at some point today, I need you to click on this link to do this Desmos activity. It will bring up something that says sign in with Google, or like a G, and you'll click on that. And it'll bring you up to this right here. And so today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be combining like terms. So I want to make sure y'all know what a like term is. A like term is anything that has the same letter, or like this 4 right here doesn't have a letter. So it's like terms with anything else that doesn't have a letter. The numbers in front have nothing to do with like terms. And so this is a little matching activity to see if you understand what like terms are. So it says match the like terms. So they have to have the same variable. So let's say I take this 5x right here. What is like terms with this? Well, as I'm looking, I see this 4x. Okay, well, they both have an x, so they're like terms. So you're going to click on this and drag it, and I hope you can see, yeah, you can see that 4x is lighting up, okay? And then you just put it right on top of it and drop it, and it'll combine those together. Okay, so I can take this 5y, and this has a y, so I can combine these together because they have y's. I can put the 4 and the 3 together because they don't have a letter. This 5 can go with these right here because they don't have a letter. The 3x can go with the 5x, and then there should be one more. It's, oh, there it is, it's hiding. All right, so this 4y right here. And so this is what it should look like right here. And so at some point today, if you're not doing it right now, at some point today, I need you to click on that Desmos activity, and you'll put all these together to where all the x's together, all the y's are together, and then everything that doesn't have a number is together. And all this is saying is that these are called like terms. So today, when I say we're going to combine like terms, we can combine anything that has an x together, but I cannot combine a 4x with a 3y. I can't combine a 4x with a 3 because they're not like terms, okay? So that's all this activity is. Now, what's weird about this activity is there's no submit button, but I promise you it will remember everything, okay? So once you finish this activity, you simply just X out of it, and then you say, I completed the activity, and then you can go on to the next part. And here in a little bit, I'm going to show you right here is where we submit today's assignment. So we're not going to do it right now because we're not done, okay? All right. So really quick, I'm going to watch the chat for just a second. Were y'all good with that little activity that we just did? Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good. Very good. All right. So like I said, if you didn't do it with me, then just do it at some point today. All right. So I'm going to go back to the whiteboard. And is everybody, hopefully everybody's good here. If you're not good, let me know because I'm about to clear this screen. Okay.
Great.
I'm good.
You're good? All right, thank you. All right, so I'm gonna clear this. All right, oh, hold on one second. I got some input. Oh, no, you're good. All right, so number 3, question 3. So question 3, we're gonna have 2 parentheses. I got somebody joining, so give them 1 second. 2 parentheses x minus 4. So make sure you're writing this down. is equal to 22. Jordan, so just to let you know, we've already done questions 1 and 2. So when we get done, I can go back and show you 1 and 2. So just make sure you have a sheet of paper and just start doing the work with us. Okay, so today we've got a problem. So the questions we did were review from last week, but today this is kind of new. So before I have taught y'all, and we're still going to do this part, is to draw a line right down the middle and then to circle the X. But I've got a problem here. I can't circle the X if there are parentheses here. So we have to get rid of the parentheses. And so we're going to do something called distributive property. And distributive property, y'all have seen this before, but you know, with that really long spring break we had, y'all probably forgotten it. And so anytime we do distributive property, I like to draw what I call mountaintops in. So I want you to draw these mountaintops. Now, I had somebody one time, and she goes, I don't like mountaintops. Can I draw rainbows? And I'm like, yes, if you want to draw rainbows, draw rainbows. But I want you to call them mountaintops. And the reason why is because it starts with an M. And mountaintops mean to multiply. And so, yes, rainbows might be prettier, but you know, we want to make sure we remember that we're multiplying here. So this is called the distributive property, and we're multiplying. So we're distributing this 2 to this X. And when you're multiplying, you just squish these 2 together. So 2 times X is just be 2X. And then we're distributing the 2 to the negative 4. So we're going to multiply this 2 to the negative 4. So 2 times negative 4 would give us negative 8. And obviously, if you're bad with your numbers, then use your calculator to do the actual multiplying. And then we got 22. Okay, now I can circle my X. We got rid of those parentheses. So now I can circle my X. So once you circle that X, we're always peeling back the layers. So we start from the outsidemost layer. So this is the innermost layer. This is the inside. The 2 is right next to the X. That's on the inside. So the outermost layer would be the negative 8. Now, we don't care about the 22 because it's on the other side of the wall. Okay? So we're going to get rid of this minus 8 first. So what's the opposite of minus 8? It's plus 8. So we're going to plus 8 and plus 8. So we got 2x is equal to, and 22 plus 8 would be 30. All right. So now we're still trying to get x by itself. So whenever there's a number right next to x, we have to divide them apart. And so technically that means to multiply. So we're going to divide by 2 to both sides. So whatever we do, remember, whatever we do to one side, we always have to do to the other. That'll cancel out. We have x is equal to, and 30 divided by 2 would be 15. Okay, question 4. All right, question 4. Okay, so this one's going to look kind of nasty. Matter of fact, let me do it like this so I don't get this confused. All right, so question 4 is going to have some decimals. So it's 2.4x plus 5. And if you are bad at this, so if you're sitting here watching as I do this, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm terrible at this, we're going to have a little trick I'm going to show you here in a couple of days, hopefully, if we get our calculators. And so I don't want you to stress because, like I said, we do have a trick. Now, if you are good at this, this is awesome because kind of as you go on and you get to higher math, you know, you need to be able to work this stuff out by hand. But if you're terrible at this, like I said, we got a little trick. So don't panic if you feel like you're bad with this. Okay, so our rule has been was we draw a line down the equal sign and then we circle the x, but we've got a problem here. I've got 2 x's, and so I can't just circle 1 x, and we're only allowed to circle 1 x. So we're going to do what's called combining like terms. So I can combine this has an X with something else that has an X. So this has an X. Now notice when I underlined this, I included the sign to the left. So this negative sign goes with this 7.4. So I can combine these because both of these have an X. And so when you combine them, you don't mess with the X, you simply deal with the numbers. So when I look at the numbers, I've got 2.4 minus 7.4. So I would just throw that into my calculator. Now, in class, I'm actually throwing it into the calculator, but today I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you what the answer is. So if we do 2.4 minus 7.4 in the calculator, it comes out with -5. Then, remember there was an X here, we just keep that X there. So the X is kind of like a little brother that's just tagging along, following you everywhere. I don't know if y'all got any little brothers or sisters, but I had a little brother, dude, just follow me everywhere, annoying me to death. So that wasn't a compliment to little brothers and sisters. If you are the little brother or sister, then just understand you're annoying. All right, so, so we combine these together and we got anything we didn't use, we're going to bring down. So we're going to bring down this +5, and then we're going to bring down that 15 right there. Okay, so now I do have one X, so we can go ahead and circle the X. All right, so now when we take a look at this, which one, remember, it's like peeling an onion. We always start on the outside. So the X that we circle is always the very inside. This 5, which is right next to it, is also on the inside. So the one that's on the outside is going to be this +5 right here. And I always get kids going, what about 15? The 15 is on the other side of this wall, so we don't care about it. So we're going to start off getting rid of this +5. So we do the opposite and we -5. And then we got to do that to both sides. This cancels out. We got -5x is equal to, and 15 minus 5 would be 10. And then, so we're still trying to get x by itself, and when it's right next to it, then we have to divide them apart. So there's no plus or minus sign, the 5's right next to the x. We've got to divide these apart. So technically this is multiplication, so the opposite is divide. But in the end, when they're side by side, we got to divide them apart. So those cancel. And then we got x is equal to, one negative makes the whole thing negative. And you can just put this whole thing in the calculator and it'll tell you what the answer is. But one negative makes the whole thing a negative, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. Okay, so I'm just going to pause for just a second so that everybody can get this written down. Like I said, if you are a little confused and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so much, like I said, I got a trick for you. Are y'all good? I'm going to assume you are good because
yep.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good. All right. So we're going to clear this. Maybe. There we go. And let's see. Question 5. Number 5 is alive. Trivia. Does anybody know what movie that comes from? Number 5 is alive. Y'all are too young, so I'll be shocked if anybody knows that. All right. So we got 7. So you're going to write this down. So this is question 5. We got 3 equals 7 parentheses h minus 2 close parentheses plus 17. All right, so anytime we got an equation, we're going to draw our line down. And we go to circle our h, but we've got a problem. So, okay, you're good. The problem is these parentheses. And so in order to get rid of the parentheses, we have to do our distributive property, which is our mountaintops. I'm going to draw the mountaintops right here. And so remember, mountaintops mean to multiply. So when you multiply 7 times 8, you just squish them together. That's good, Nichelle. That's good. Yeah. All right. So then 7 times -2 is -14. So -14. And then we're going to bring down what we didn't use, that +17. All right. And we'll bring down that 3. So yeah, I could circle my H, but I also got another issue here. I've got 2 of these numbers, and I don't like the fact that there's 2 of these. And so we're going to combine these because they're like terms, because they're just numbers. Okay, so they don't have any letters. So we can combine these real quick. Now you could throw it into the calculator, -14 + 17. Or when the signs are different, you subtract. So 17 minus 14 would be a +3. So this becomes 7H + 3. So we combine these 2 right here because they were both just numbers, so they're like terms, to get 3. All right, now we can circle our H. And so we've got the H is the center, okay? The 7's also in the center with the H. So the one that's the most on the outside would be this 3 right here. So we're going to do the opposite of a +3 and -3. So these cancel. Now, a lot of people will say these cancel, but here's the thing. I have to have a number on this side. I can't just say that they cancel and then there's nothing here. So while we say these cancel, here we would say 3 minus 3 is 0. Now this tends to freak kids out. For some reason, they don't like 0. Now don't get me wrong. I don't like 0 when it represents my bank account. Okay, I do have problems with 0 when it's in my bank account. But when it's just math, it's okay for there to be a 0. So don't let 0 make you panic or anything. All right. So now we're still trying to get H by itself. And once again, this 7 is right next to that H. So we're going to divide by 7. And so we got to do that to both sides. And then 0 divided by 7, if you throw that in the calculator, so this once again makes people panic, but throw that in the calculator and you get 0. So 0 is equal to H, and it is okay for 0 to be an answer. Poor people got to pick on the 0 for some reason. All right. So question 6 on today's work. In a lot of classes, we skipped this, and there were a few classes where we did this. So I'm going to go ahead and today skip this one. And we're not going to worry about it. If you can work it out, that's great. If you're like, no, I want to know how to work it out. When we get done, I'll go back and work out number 6 for you. But for right now, I want to get to 7 and 8. So I'm going to skip to question 7. Plus 2y is equal to 12. Okay, so this is our equation here. We got 3x plus 2y is equal to 12. So this was the problem we took care of on number 2. And we said this is going to be important all year long, and we're going to try to get a lot of practice in with this right here. So this is more practice. So we're going to draw our line, and we're trying to get y by itself. So the rule is, when we have x and y on the same side, we always add or subtract to get rid of the x every single time. So here's my x, and I know I'm either going to add or subtract. So I look at this, and this is a +3. So we're going to do the opposite, and it's -3. -3 to both sides. And notice I don't write it underneath because you cannot combine those. You will never, ever, ever be able to combine these right here on a problem like this. So this becomes 2y is equal to, now when we do this, we like for the x to be up front. So when there's numbers involved, we want the one with an x to be up front. And then the 12 is positive, so we're gonna put plus 12. You can probably barely see that. If your video is in the way, you can always grab the video up at the top and scoot it out of the way. So I apologize, that went all the way over to the side. All right, and so the first step is always add or subtract the x. And this is when x and y are on the same side. The second step is always divide by the number in front of y. So we will always divide by the number in front of y. And like I said, we're gonna do so many of these this year that you will get really good at this. So these cancel, and we got y is equal to, if we put this into the calculator will tell us that this does not reduce. So it's just negative 3 over 2x. But if we put this into the calculator, it will reduce. So 12 over 2 would reduce to a positive 6. I'm going to pause there just for a second. And then I have one more question that we're going to do. One of the things I do want you to realize is that when you work with me, we don't always do everything. Okay? This is about what we're getting done in class. And so, you know, if we get more done in class, then obviously I'll do more with y'all. But if we're not getting it all done in class, then I'm not going to make y'all do it all. Now, if you're working on your own, you'll probably do it all because you won't know. Okay, so I'm going to assume that everybody's got that written down because I haven't heard. You can speak up if I need to pause for a second, but I think everybody's going to be good. So I'm going to clear this. All right. So this is going to be our last one right here. That's fine. I won't be doing it again until 4:15, Nisha. All right. So let's see. Number 8 is going to be negative 7x minus 5y. You are welcome. Is equal to 25. All right, so once again, we got x and y on the same side. I hope that you're kind of in your head going, okay, this is what I think we're supposed to do, because that's how you'll get really good at these. Obviously, you can wait till I do it and then copy it down, but that's not as effective. So anytime we have x and y on the same side, we're always going to get rid of the x by adding or subtracting. So in this case, it's a negative 7x, so we're the opposite of negative 7 would be plus 7x. But it has to be adding and subtracting when x and y are on the same side. All right, so we'll bring down our negative 5y is equal to, we like for the x to be written first, so 7x plus 25. So the first step is always to get rid of the x. The second step is always going to be to divide by the number in front of y. So we're going to divide everything by negative 5. So that cancels out. And we have y equals, okay, so you put this in the calculator, and the calculator is going to tell you that it's negative 7 over 5. So this doesn't reduce, but it does kind of move this negative up. And I want y'all to know that the negative can be on the top, the bottom, or out to the side. I don't like out to the side because sometimes when you draw that negative, it looks like it's part of this fraction bar. And so either keep it on top or bottom. And my personal favorite is just to always move the negative up top. And I think that's what the calculator will do too. And then this right here would, if you put that in the calculator, would come out to be negative 5. So minus 5. Now I will say that so like I said, I moved it up top here. If this was a fraction, I would have this over to the side because it's technically a minus sign right there. And you'll get that figured out. It may be a touch confusing, but you'll be fine. Okay, So what I want to do now is I want to show those of y'all who have done this how to take a picture. Some of y'all already know, but some of y'all don't. How to take a picture and then how to upload this. Okay. So in order for me to show you how to take a picture, I'm going to have to turn my video off. Otherwise, my camera won't work. So let me turn my video off. Okay. So either down here at the bottom of your screen, there will be a, oh, actually, let me do something different. Let me share screen. There we go. So down here at the bottom of the screen, hopefully you have a search bar. If you do not have a search bar, then you want to click on this Windows icon and go to camera right there. If you have the search bar, then just type in CAM and it'll bring up the camera app. Just click on that. Hello. So when that camera app pops up, now you can take a picture of your work. And the easiest thing to do is to stand up so that you can see the button right here that you got to push. If you sit down, then you can't see the button. And then just do the best you can to hold your paper up and make sure your name's on it so that I know whose paper it is. And then just simply click on the button and it'll take a picture. Okay, so if you want to see your picture, you can click on this, but it's not necessary. So right there's my picture. And then once you take the picture, you can X out of camera. So the picture is inside of the computer now. And then on your form that you were filling out, down here it says add a file. And this is where we're going to add a file. So we're going to click on this right here. And then it says select from your device. So you'll click on that. We want a picture because we just took a picture, right? So over here on the left, you'll click on pictures. And then it's on your camera roll. Now you guys won't have very many pictures. I've been taking pictures of everybody's work in class, so I have a lot of pictures. So you scroll down to the bottom. Now you're, like I said, you guys may not have very many pictures, so it might be the first picture you see. But your latest picture is always the very last picture. And so right there's mine. So I double click on it. And then, so it puts the picture right there. You'll click upload. And when it's uploaded, you'll see this right here. And then you can click submit. So I'm going to pause for a second. Do I need to go over that again? I don't mind going over it again. So once you have done this and you uploaded your picture, so you see this little file right here, and then you click submit, you're done for me for today.